Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the relegations. Gandhi joined by F. We just watched an amazing set out of Europe. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that was the set to watch coming into this, at least in my opinion. I watched the first two games and went, oh no. I thought this was going to be so much more, and then Spicy Waffles just turned up. They
hey, man, best of fives are very, very interesting in the sense of MOBAs, right? Because there's so much just give and take that you can have throughout the entire longevity of the series. So I've been very, very excited for it so far. I thought yesterday went great, but today we are on the North American side of things. We will be watching Legion take on the return. We really want to touch on the return here, though, Dot. We were just talking about it before, and I was like, so they had Grishank, they don't have Grishank. What? Give me the rundown on this team.
Yeah, I mean, so Grishank was the jungler, which was a really good spot for them.
Yeah.
Grishank is a player that really just explosive, but we're going to stop talking about him because he's not on the team anymore. They replaced things. Notable names are, of course, Clow, Salt Machine, definitely the two big names that you want to take away from this. The other three players have done very well. Actually, if you take a look at all of the challenger stats, there's nothing really poor. There's no standout stats, there's no superstar on the team, but they don't do anything extremely negative, which is exactly where you want to be for these relegations.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for is consistency here. But so their opponents, they'll be going up against Team Legion. Legion, they were kind of close going into Season 2. They were just there, but they lost due to the round robin kind of split and how it all kind of went. But this team, it's really just what's going to happen with DJ Pernicus, right? It was funny. DM was walking out there and he was like, well, flip a coin if if he'll win or lose. And it really seems to turn that way. Every time I watch his stream, though, I mean, he's really, really good in ranked. And which also explains his personality.
I mean, DJ Pernicus, you come from the shooter scene, and I come from the shooter scene. It's a different feel moving over to the MOBAs. It's a little lighter, I guess I could say, without being too offensive.
People are just nicer, I think.
The term BM doesn't exist outside of this. Let's put it that way. So DJ Pernicus has experienced some success outside of MOBAs. Coming into MOBAs, you know, he's struggled to find it. He's obviously a very good player, and he struggled to find the team around him. With the current lineup with Payne Devion and some of the other players around him, Well-Plaid, etc., I think that this could be the squad for him, and I'm actually very excited. He's somebody that I've followed for a while. He was even on the analyst desk going all the way back to the launch tournament. So he's somebody that's really been around the Smite scene.
Oh, I actually saw that picture. That's they had guess my age or whateagemi.com or whatever it was.
It wasn't actually Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. It was I forget who it was, but all I know is that I saw Bart and they guessed he was like 41, and I was like, I see it. Yeah. He looks 41 to me too, man. I get it. But without further ado, guys, it is time to hop into picks and bans. We will hop into this game number 1. Keep in mind, guys, it is a best of 5, so the first team to win 3 games will take it.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to start this one off, and Serket is instantly going to be taken away.
So Serket off the top is, normally we'd say this is a very North American situation, but it's gone the way of Europe as well. Everybody seems to be afraid of this Serket, and Sylvanas, we haven't seen Sylvanas. Sylvanas has been banned in virtually every single qualifier match thus far.
Yeah, -1. I just heard the stat at the end of the game. It was he's been banned in every game -1, and he lost that game, which makes sense. Medusa is going to get taken out as well as Hunbats. Hunbats so far, he's just been a beast. He's my favorite jungler to watch. I think he has the most outplay potential, and he really just brings so much to the team.
I have been preaching this character since he was known as Sun Wukong, and people have said different things about him, but I think now the game has matured and the players have come to the point where they understand that fear no evil just ruins all of your plans.
Yep. Athena's going to get picked up here, and then option over to Legion. They're going to go ahead and grab Thor and Isis. So to see who will accompany Athena here.
That's a very interesting situation, Scott. Thor and Isis, both of two main sources of their damage. Isis is Wind Gust. I'm very glad the camera's not watching me do this Wind Gust motion, but Wind Gust and Berserker's Barrage canceled by Taunt.
Yeah,
just done.
Yeah. Thor's on the table as well, or Thanatos is on the table as well. I would love to see a Poseidon get picked up. I think Poseidon mixed with Athena is some of the strongest mid-harpy contention you can really have in this game.
Yeah, Taunt into Kraken is one of the better, just the wombo combo. Incredible stuff right there. Bellona going to be picked up. No real surprise there. We've seen Bellona hasn't been picked up by everybody's snap pick. She does require a certain level of finesse to be used correctly, but obviously the solo laner Salt Machine for return is a little bit confident as they pick up that Bellona and Bastet.
An all-female team so far for Team Return.
Kiki would be proud.
Yeah, Kiki's probably loving this. He's probably like, oh, if only Isis was there. Geb will get locked in here for Legion as well. The Geb shield's always going to be good. Geb's going to really make his impact after around the 20-minute mark, but even still, throughout the entire game, just with Stone Shield alone, he can change the pace of a game instantly.
Stone Shield so powerful. The third round bans have come out. No Shibalaki. And no Sobek, one of the scarier Guardians when it comes to in lane.
Oh, yeah. Anhur gets picked up, an amazing hunter throughout any game. He's just so good. Desert Fury, I always love seeing it, even at the professional level, because it makes me feel better about myself, is when they try to body block Desert Fury and they can, and I'm like, yes, it's not just me.
Just looks like a bunch of basic attacks, so it's tough to really decide what you want to do there. 2 picks going the way of a return on the bottom will round them out. There's that Poseidon you were looking for, Scott. So between Athena, Poseidon combo, and Bastet's ability to jump over the wall, mid-Harpy should be very, very scary for Legion to dance over, and Ullr is going to be the hunter for Team Return.
I mean, look at Team Return. How in the world is Legion even going to try to be able to battle for these mid-Harpies at the 6-minute mark? I mean, yeah, Thor's super strong early on, but so is Bastet, and Thor can only do so much. He's going to have perfect ultimates to come dunking down, as well as good synergy with Isis, but it's going to be really, really tough, and to round it out here is going to be Legion grabbing Aphrodite.
I like the Afro pick. I've seen a little bit of Well-Plaid. Well-Plaid does have a very good Aphrodite, so that's going to work just well. That's going to work very well for that team. But you're right on the mid-Harpies. Athena, Poseidon, it will be uphill for Legion to grab them.
I wonder what Legion's going to have to do to actually battle against that dot.
You're going to look for silences out of the Isis. You're going to look for long-range Spirit Balls to sort of snipe those away. And I mean, maybe even having Anhur rotate from the dual lane. It's not something we see often, but it can happen. That'll of course drag Ullr out as well. But why don't we drag into the game ourselves? And here we are, right here on the Mount of Olympus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the game number 1 of the best of 5 relegations. We have Team Legion taking on Team Return. We are underway here. Really going into this one, Dot, I really want everyone's focus to kind of be right on this Poseidon. I think he has to have a huge impact on this game for this team to come out on top with this.
Poseidon is definitely going to be a large part of it, especially, as you mentioned earlier, with the Athena help. There's just no world in which an Athena taunt into a Kraken doesn't do what it's supposed to.
Yep. Right? Yeah. It's just a failsafe. So Tier 1 boots coming out for Bastet, as well as the Bomba's Mask across the way. Same thing with Thor. And then Mark of the Vanguard for the Gab, as a Watcher's Gift comes out for the Athena. 5
people on the right-hand side of the map. All 5 members of Team Return here, looking to catch out the solo lane ward.
Yep.
That's what they were doing. Had Aphrodite really been a little bit late to ward where she has down there by on the lower right-hand side of your minimap, if Aphrodite was a little late, a little slow, that entire team of Team Return would have caught her out and gotten first blood right away. Doesn't go that way, but that's the thought process.
I'm actually kind of surprised that we're not seeing Team Return invade, since it isn't Aphrodite. The main reason why mages aren't played in the solo lane is because they can't start off with Hand of the Gods, so it's pretty much a guaranteed blue buff.
Yeah, very interesting decision not to, of course, on the side of Team Return. You've got the Bellona, and you've got the Bastet, and neither of which have the heavy hammer. Granted, it's been nerfed a little bit, but here is the late invade.
Hold that. The push is going to come up here. Will we see him? And they're going to just give this up fully. They don't want to contest this at all. Bastet taking a lot of damage there, but the Hand of the Gods will come down. The blue buff will be dropped. And now we will watch as Team Return enters into the lane. Yeah,
it's actually, we should have noticed that from the get-go. They took the blue instead of the speed, meaning that they're just going to go up and take the other blue. That does 2 things. That one, it secures the blue for their own solo laner, but also makes sure that if they invade, they can't get counter-invaded and have their blue taken away, because it's just not there.
Taking a look at the mid lane here, this is going to be a Duro versus Clow. There's a lot of history with Clow as well. As we swing into the duo lane side of things, Geb very, very low. as Ullr will be trying to whittle him down.
Yeah, Paynevion on this Geb is a very, very established player. Tends to be a little bit aggressive. As you can see, he has the Mark of the Vanguard, so he'll be able to take a couple of more shots from those archers and those melee minions, but still not something you want to wade in. So sitting at about 45% HP is the Geb right now, and honestly, a good Ullr combo could stomp him down.
Well, looking for it there, not trying to aggress at all. Way too many archers. On the right side, though, we're going to see the shield bash come in. I can't wait for the change to happen to Bellona. That's it currently in PTS. It's so nice.
And because of this, you see, Bellona's all by herself. Bastet has rotated over, and with the help of Poseidon, has picked up that speed buff. So no real experience lost there. Not a lot of time left with that buff standing up. No real cost for the invade.
Yep. And Thor actually still here, left side of things, though. Taunt's going to come out, and now she's going to be able to dash away. Ullr stays alive as well. They were trying to be aggressive early on, but they were unable to commit. 45 seconds until the first round of mid-Harpies will come up. Harpies is how you say that, not Harmies.
Bastet rotated out a little bit. She's going to rotate back into the mid lane. It looked like they thought about messing with Legion over there in the dual lane, but instead decided not to. Interesting point you mentioned about those Harpies, though, as we see the pause come out. Interesting point about those mid Harpies. It'll be very up to ISIS to stop the domination of these mid Harpies by Legion.
Yep. So let me ask you the question here as we are into a game pause. Thor stayed in lane all the way, I think it's like 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the game clock right now, instead of getting that early rotation. Is that just because he missed out on the blue experience and he wasn't level 2 and he's just trying to catch up by leeching experience? That's
exactly it, Scott. He wants to be able to keep the lane presence and keep his experience presence, keep himself relevant, and also he wants to help out Aphrodite.
That's a Kraken. Those are cats as well.
That's
Gold Fury. This is free.
That's
Return takes the
free.
Return just took a Gold Fury at 255. Now, I haven't seen cheese like this since Lassus coached against that man.
Now there's something. There's a ranked anecdote at the top level. Clow is a top level player, but his sort of legacy is that he's very, very good when he cares, and also he has very aggressive and risky calls. Clow calls is what they call them. That right there is a Clow call, which shows you that it's not always a negative to be risky and aggressive. Goes ahead, takes it. There's no vision. That gets the Gold Fury, but now mid-camp's under contention. Here's the Athena ult.
Yep. But that's the best part about Geb. All he has to do is hit his knock-up and then hands at 3 minutes, and he'll be able to always take those Harpies.
We'll see what we're talking about, Scott, how easy it would be for Return to get these mid-Harpies. Their abilities and mechanics will make it easy, but if you're just not there, you just can't get them. A little bit late to the mid-Harpy party, Geb picks it up. Absolutely no problem, because, yeah, the Athena ult is coming in. I see it. I'll be here first. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but look at... Legion has to have pressed T by now and seen these charts and just been like, really? There's no way. And with how these players are with the ranked atmosphere... Everyone knows in ranked, first Gold Fury, whatever, F6 at 10, screw it, right? Like, that's how it is.
I mean, yes and no. This is a very different situation here in competitive, obviously. These players have played together week in, week out. Both of these teams have played 6 out of the 7 weeks in the Challenger Cup. Team Return, a consistent number 3 team. 1 week they went higher, 1 week they went lower, but they've always really sat around this number 3. So, yeah, they're all ranked players, but they also have a lot of experience playing together as a team unit.
Desert Fury used right there. Ullr's going to try to aggress. Oh, he actually hit that axe stun. Does he have the follow-up? The pillar will slow him down a bit, and he's just going to poke him out there. But you can see he wants to aggress, and here comes an invade, Dot.
Right-hand side of the map. Looks like Paynevion wanted to think about it, but as soon as Bellona shows up, really gonna,
they got that too.
He'll walk out. Yeah.
They got that. Aphrodite without another blue buff there. She does have sprint too, so she is going to stay relatively safe in this lane, but she definitely wants that blue buff just so she can get all the farm.
Aphrodite will not have a huge issue without the blue buff, but as you said, it'll just be so much easier for her, obviously, as a mage to really rock that blue buff. One of the plays I really liked in the dual lane, as soon as Desert Fury was used to clear the wave, Ullr knew that there was no CC immunity on the side of Anhur, so went right in, right for that axe stun. Couldn't really seal the deal, but that's why he jumped in, because Desert Fury is used as a beads a lot of the time in late game for Anhur.
So now your good buddy is Kret. Now, I'm sure Kret has given you the workaround of the difference between Dev Gloves and Heartseeker.
Yep.
What side of the fence are you sitting on?
It all depends on your confidence level, Scott. Dev's Gloves will give you more damage overall in the late game, but Heartseeker gives you the ability to snowball. It also doesn't give you early game lifesteal. So if you're going to be confident and you're going to rush in there and use that snowball to the best of your ability, Heartseeker all the way. If you want to play a little more calculated and a little more close to the chest, Devo Gloves is going to be safer, and it also allows you to look at that early Gold Fury all by yourself as a hunter.
But Dev Gloves also, now since it takes 75 stacks, it actually is what, like an extra 2 to 3 minutes to farm that up,
Yes,
assuming all things go according to plan. So you really put yourself at risk almost getting that as well, right?
Yes and no. I mean, the same risk that you use for the extra time is the risk of losing your stacks when you die as Heartseeker. So it's about even, just depends on how you want to look at that risk. Are you aggressive? Can you use it?
Two-man taunt as well, followed by the Kraken off the mark. Geb gonna get poked out here as he gets forced all the way out. Tectonic Rift as well will stop Ullr from going forward, but the left Harpies are still up, and we will be watching as Team Return will take those as well.
Yeah, that's a win. It doesn't matter if the ultimate's going to come out and deal damage and force you off the mid Harpies there, or someplace else. The result was the same. We ulted them on the tower, no kills, but we get the Harpies. That's a win, clean and clear, no problem. Return leading this contest, 2,300 gold. We're only 7 minutes in.
Yeah, the big stat here in Smite is always 2,600 experience at 7 minutes. That is a number we are not used to seeing here in the booth at 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, Return has been very, very efficient. Going back to the way they cleared their blue buff and invaded the blue, and then immediately mid-rotated for speed, which is not something we normally see, and then again, mid-rotating for those back Harpies. Clow is making sure that he is a part of all of these camps, which is really going to help him stay ahead.
Ullr now just trying to freeze the lane, waiting to see if Panda Cat will actually step up, looking for it, and he was trying to bait out the jump there. It's very, very smart mental games in the lane.
It's the audio cue, Scott. When you hear the "my axe" or whatever he says,
the hunt is on.
Yeah, you immediately, oh no.
Yeah. Yep,
no. Even when you're turned around, we were talking about to Jeff Hinla during the spring finals, and I forget what audio cue it was, but he said 100%. It's so important to listen to sound in Smite, and that's one of the larger things. When you hear those axes come out, you know that a stun is on the way or could be on the way, and that'll change your playstyle.
It's funny because I never thought it was important at all until Adonis did his video on it, and I was like, oh.
Yep.
All right, well, the rotation coming out of Anhur here. Here's a Kraken. Look at Geb just get destroyed. Desert Fury's going to be there as well.
That's
Isis
good.
is there. Eagles rally on the backside, though. Will Bellona continue to push forward? Her team has given up, and she is, but look how low Isis is. He's still fine. He has no problem at all. The birds are going to miss as well. Jump away. Disengage is good. Legion still trying to push forward here as the Athena will be ulting here onto Pain to Beyond, and that will send Legion back.
Cloud's going to play that one a little bit. I like this sort of calculated aggression coming out from Return. You see this Bellona get very feisty, want to chase a kill, and then at the last possible minute, realize he's got to turn around.
He could be in trouble.
Speaking of turnarounds, here comes Thor. Can he turn
Look at
this
those
off by
body
himself?
blocks.
Beautiful stun. The blocks are good, but the birds go through players. Well-Plaid now trying to save his own Thor. Can DJ Pernicus survive with that type of healing? Yes, he can.
Dude, those birds. I mean, look at this. She went Shoes of the Magi as well.
Yep.
So not going with the CDR build out here. But right side, Harpies are up. The Return really can't make a play on this. They're going to give this up. But I wonder what Aphrodite is going to do next, right? I mean, we see the power boots come out on like DM Brandon, but we also saw him be dead for 16 minutes.
27,
yeah.
I believe. It was up there. Basically, it's looking at the Magi boots for a lot of the initial power. Sometimes we even see Doomorb come out in this position. I would be a little surprised to see Doomorb come out after the boots. So here, my guess would be something I would expect to see a Breastplate of Valor, especially considering that the jungler
Look at this.
and the opponent in lane is physical.
Taunt's going to hit as well. Spirit Ball is going to be off the mark. Followed up here. The Cats are going to be down. Will Geb survive this? The answer is no. Cataclysm, not enough. Instantly out of this one. Thor in the sky comes crashing down. Does he have the help? Double tap's going to hit. Berserker Barrage is there as well. Hits one. Still looking at Poseidon in the middle. Athena's here to try to turn this around. In comes an axe stun from Ullr. Look at the health just get depleted. And down he goes. But the battle still continues continues, throws the whirlpool at his feet to make sure he's still alive. Return is up 4-2, and they are looking damn good in these team fights.
Yeah, turn it around, they did. Legion actually started and wanted that fight. In came DJ Pernicus, and classic DJ Pernicus in the sense that he nailed that Thor combo perfectly. That's what we expect out of DJ, but unfortunately for him and his team, Return came right around and did everything they need to do to turn that gank into a 3-for-1 in their direction.
Well, Aphrodite now looking straight at the Bellona. She's just healing up all of these things, switching stances, and you know that's the one thing that's fun about playing a Bellona when you're Aphrodite is just using back off. Yeah. You bait them into the hammer, and then you're like, hey, by the way, you're not finishing that. Yeah, and that's always that's like the worst feeling as Bellona too, is when you get stopped in the middle of that hammer.
Yeah, it's one of the bigger things you could sort of stop or interrupt. It feels a lot like, and it feels like Rising Jaguar from Shibalaki when you get silenced, because it's sweet, I've got this giant dash, or sweet, I have this giant A. Oh, I don't get to use it. Just a little bit too late.
She was just a little slow right there, but you can see the idea is right there.
Yep.
That's what happens when you're on the backside, though, and she had to retreat. She didn't want to fight him out there. And Eagles Rally comes down, still pushing forward. Undying Love's already going to be used. He's going to try to dunk this out, and look at that hammer come crashing down. Back off was still on the cooldown. Great play by this solo lane Bellona.
Smart stuff. I like the use of the active. It's not quite at rank 3 yet, which will stop the healing, but it's at rank 2. Slows her down just enough. Cloud's ultimate gonna miss, but Aduro's still in a bunch of trouble. The dot is good, and so is the slow. Wiggles the Bay, gets the kill, but DJ Pernicus makes him pay with the ult and a spin to win.
Yep, he's going to go ahead and rotate over to the right side. He might go to aggress on this Bellona, but he really doesn't want to fight this Bellona, I don't think. Not at this point. Even though she's low, I mean, he has a 3-level disadvantage in here. You can't fight Bellona at 3 levels behind. You have a hard enough time fighting her even.
Taking a look at Bellona's build, not defensive. So nothing really to be scared in that direction. And as we see on the side of Aphrodite, I was sort of wrong. All right, so she doesn't go the Breastplate of Valor. Instead, we see a Chronos Pendant. Still there for the CDR. As you mentioned, she went Magi's boots, not CDR boots, but this is a much more offensive or less defensive Aphrodite than I would have expected.
Well, Panda Cat, the Athena will be coming in on the Ullr as well. This was really just as a disengage there. I think the Athena was kind of like, okay, you're going to go in, right? And he was like, yeah, totally. All right, I got scared.
Yeah, good stun and a good jump in would have secured a lot of damage with that combination, but got to be a little bit careful with it.
Well, this is the first time throughout relegations today that we have actually seen Bellona. She's been banned every single game, and for good reason, too, because not only is she really, really strong in the solo lane, but as we found out at the spring finals, she is devastating in the jungle as well. So when you pick her up in the first in the first phase, you don't know if she's going to be a solo laner or a jungler, and that adds for a lot of mental games you don't want to deal with.
That ambiguity is so strong. So is the ultimate coming out from Thor. Teams drop the Gold Fury. It's all about the fight right now. Isis ultimate has been down. The full wing gun does come out. There's the ultimate from Clow with the help of the cat. That'll claim a life. Nevin gets one, so does Clow. This fight is going stories in the way of team return.
How did this happen? Eagles Rally hits as well. That's going to be 4 dead. The only one left alive is going to be Pain to Vion. Wow. That is insane. They had a perfect initiation. Everything was going according to plan, and then Return said, wait, we got Poseidon, man. Throw that Kraken down, fully stacked Doom Orb here. Gold Fury is going to go at 14 minutes as you're going to see Bellona just hack away in the mid lane.
I love this. I talk so much about this stuff after the stuff nonsense. They got 3 stuffs after the stuff, Scott. They got Gold Fury, mid tower, and duo lane tower. That is how you look towards objectives.
They're going to go ahead and go back. On top of that, they've also stolen away the speed buff from Thor. Yeah. That's going to set DJ Pernicus back just a bit. I mean, at this point in the game, I mean, when you look at Thor, he's got the Jotuns. He has some options after there, but once you finish Jotuns after Power Boots as Thor, and you get that next speed buff, you are everywhere. Everything just instantly starts to just destroy your opposition.
And not for nothing, I mean, I've played the jungle, you've played in the jungle, and I've spoken to many pro junglers. nobody wants their speed buff taken.
No.
That is going to piss you off, and there's this sort of over talked about note about DJ Pernicus being emotional, and there is a certain level of truth there, and you know that's gonna impact the game as small as it may be. You're down right now. There is a almost 10,000 gold differential, 12,000 experience differential, and we're just 15 minutes in the game. It's 10-3 with the kills, and it's just absolutely going the way of Team Return in so many different ways.
Well, we're going to see him push up. The taunt's going to hit as well. They're on one. They're going to follow it up on Dying Love's going to hit. It allows them to get the hammer out as well. Spirit Ball's going to hit as well. Now we're going to see him just run away. But look at the Bellona, still healthy here. That's with no defense. Eagles Rally's going to be good. And now still pushing. Oh my God, Geb Shield kept him alive?
Geb Shield is absolutely on point. The support coming out from Pain Divion, that is definitely a veteran of the scene, knowing what he's doing. But here's Webbin trying to take the tower for his friends, but his friends don't want to follow up, so they're going to play a little safe. Cloud will stay here and just sort of clear the wave.
Yeah, meanwhile, in the mid, I mean, we saw Ullr actually get a little bit of pressure here on the tier 2, as Athena's going to go ahead and dash away. Pain Divion's going to see that one, try to get some wards down here, as now we will see the battle kind of change. It went from a tier 2 siege into a, all right, let's bring it back, guys. We got a little bit low. Let's not worry about this.
Yeah, too many other things to really worry about for Legion at the moment. Definitely not the game that they wanted coming into it.
Wow.
This is a lot on two right here. Immediately decimated is DJ Pernicus, and does the Aphrodite.
They already forced out the
life?
ultimate as well. They already forced out that. The Kraken's going to hit as well. You're going to watch him just keep pushing forward. Wow. Eagles Rally's going to be on the backside as well. Ullr gets one. Still pushing forward there. That's going to be Bastet as well. Ullr's going to hit.
This is a tough one, Scott. Not surprised.
Okay.
No, just not surprised in the slightest.
Hey, this is exactly what I almost expected.
Yeah,
right.
No.
I mean, that early Gold Fury. I mean, you're talking about the ranked player mentality, right? Okay, well, we're down a bunch. Screw it, F6.
I'm going to go the other direction, Scott. I definitely like this surrender from a team perspective, because it's a 5 game. It's a best of 5, right? You got rocked. Nobody's going to take it the other way.
That's also a very good point.
Hit it. 15 minutes. Let's keep going. Game 2, we just watched a team lose 2 games in a row and then win 3.
Yeah, fair. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this first blood here in just a second. But really, I mean, this Poseidon, I said, I mean, the Poseidon and Athena together are just lethal. You can watch that moment where Geb was on the map, and then it was just...
very interesting right there. And we actually have a player of the game for that, because it was just so dominant. Nebin going to be our player of the game, Nevan. Here he is on that Ullr from the Hunter roll. Gets a perfect axe, and well, the rest is just burst damage, Scott.
Yeah, Ullr throughout this entire game, he had great positioning. He was always forcing out all the fights he could, waiting for that axe stun, and then managing to stay alive here with these beads, and then turns and hits the axe stun right on Thor. These are plays that you want your Hunter to make, and he's still aggressive, just using the lifesteal to his advantage, and he was everywhere throughout that. Sure, Poseidon may be on the kills right there, but at the end of the day, you want your Hunter player to play exactly like this. Yeah,
the presence of mind shown in a lot of these plays. I love the attention to detail, as you noted. He hit the Thor during the Berserker's Barrage.
Yeah.
You know, he's using the lifesteal while he's in the Isis ultimate. He's doing everything he really needs to do. Beautiful beads right there as well. Just, this is a player that his reaction times are on point, and he knows exactly where he needs to be looking.
I mean, look, this game was like, what, 20 minutes, right? And we had all those plays from it. That is damn impressive. But the question that I have, the question I have is, we get ready to load into the game number 2. We're going to do no break here because it's relegations. But my question is what did this do to Legion's morale? Is the F6 a good thing?
I definitely think it is. Coming from the outside looking in, there are two trains of thought, and the one that I'm going to jump on board is, look, we lost it. They did real well. Let's forget about it and move on to game 2. You can also internalize that and be like, we got really trounced. How are we ever going to do it? But I really think, knowing these players a little bit like I do, I think that DJ Pernicus and the rest of his crew are just going to go in and be like, look, and Payne is a very positive guy. He used to lane with Jeff Hindla. And you know Jeff's attitude.
Hey, Jeff's the man.
Jeff's attitude is sort of, you know, Payne has a very similar attitude. I'm sure Payne is just sitting there with his French-Canadian accent going, look, guys, game 1 happened, but let's make game 2 a lot different, and I think that's what we're going to see out of Legion.